is a big word because when people say young people, you think we are talking about secondary school, primary school. But young people, for example, from the Kenyan perspective, is from the age of 0 to 35. But here we are talking about from the age of 11 to 30 years old in the UK. And most of their problems or most of their solutions are not with us. They are with them. So first and foremost, I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself. You got 30 seconds to say who you are and what you do and what do you think we can do to bring young people on board to bring solutions.
Hello, everybody. My name is Duncan. I work in technical SEO, as well as I do itinerant speaking at conferences and events. How do we bring young people into the community?
To work with the community.
To work with the community.
To bring their solutions.
I think a lot of young people are uninterested. So you have to get them interested, if I'm honest. So find ways to make things appeal to them. Give them space to give their own ideas and their own, create their own things. Because I think if you're inviting them to be a part of something that they don't really have a say in, eventually they're not gonna care because it's not where their interests lie. But if you give them and delegate the responsibility to them, then you might see more interest.
Thank you, Duncan.
That was a great answer. I don't know if I can beat that. But my name is Amy. I'm 24 years old. I work for a software company. I work as a tech analyst. I've been in it for like a couple of years now. I think similar to Duncan's point about they are quite uninterested. And I kind of given them like a forum for them to speak about the things that they need is probably the best way. Because I find a lot of young people are going on podcasts and talking about certain different topics. I think kind of finding that niche or what is it that they want. And I think the best way I'd say from myself and what I've seen is using social media. A lot of people are using forums like TikTok to kind of share their opinions. So I think if you give them that space, we can then guide them. And I think a really key thing within the community is finding mentors. You do find a lot of young people are kind of misguided. So when you have somebody who may be a little bit more experienced in certain areas, if I take myself, for example, I've been to university, I've been in the working field for some years now, so someone's a bit younger than me, it would be good to kind of give them that bit of guidance. That's an example, I'm not saying I am, but if it's a good way, I think mentorship would be a good point to start off with.
Thank you very much.
My name's Samson Alexander, but I'm a creative. I do work, but my main thing is just being a creative. Like I enjoy making films, I enjoy making music, videos, all that kind of stuff. My rap name is Sammy777. Now there's no distinction between me and Sammy777. I am Sammy777 and Sammy777 is me. It's just a creative avenue that I use to express myself through music and appeal to young children, as well as people my age as well. But I would say one way that... what was the question again?
Young people can really work with the community to bring their own solutions.
I think the gentleman over there explained it very well. You can't invite them when the product is done. You have to invite them in the groundwork. I think that's 100% true. Because young people, most of the time, we just want to be heard. We want our voices to be heard. And through whatever way. Now, I do also believe that we have to be cautious on what young people we choose to raise up, because there are definitely young people that they might be doing good by putting their time towards something positive that's not on the roads or not causing trouble and stuff, but then what they might be doing might not be beneficial. For example, there's drill artists, not all drill artists, but there are some drill artists that, for example, they're not on the roads, so it's good that they're taking their time and going to the studio and rapping and doing something beneficial technically, but then also on the other side, technically what they're doing isn't beneficial. So I think it's about choosing people, young children that have adults choosing young children, or young children with their heads screwed on choosing young children that have their heads screwed on, like, or in a positive way. So yeah.
I think he's rapping as well, right? I think he is rapping. And you know what? Before you give her the microphone, to be honest, I wanted to talk about creative. Because most young people who are creative, they're the most misunderstood. Even at home, they're the most misunderstood. How have you gone through that hurdle of being misunderstood in your own art skill? It's music, but other people, it's other skills. Some parents might not even see it as a career, but you see it as this is your call, this is your career. Well, how have you gone through that hurdle?
Well, my parents have always supported me. They've never like not supported me. They've never ever told me like, Sam, like, I don't think you should do this. There's definitely been times on like the journey where like, I've probably been doing YouTube since like, I want to say like 2016, where I used to make like, I literally made like episodes, like full blown episodes that I've taken down off YouTube and stuff now. Like. I'll probably put them back out as well, but no, my parents have always believed in me. Sorry, what was your question? Sorry.
Yeah, how would you know, have you gone through the hurdle of people not believing that your art is your career?
Yeah, and literally the other day, like I tend to go on walks like very often in nature and stuff. I live in Bricket Wood, which is like full of woods and stuff. And the other day I literally said to myself whilst I was walking, stop, like for a moment, stop trying to like prove yourself to people, and like work on what I can do so that I can like prove myself to people. Like because one thing about me, I feel like I've got so much stuff going through my head, so many ideas, that I just want to pump stuff out, like just any little thing. But if I just take time, so right now I'm filming a movie, if I just take time and like kind of chill off the like trying to be in everyone's face and like just like expressing my way through any way, take my time, do what I like, prove myself to myself in a sense, and like get my stuff in order so that once it's out there, then people can see what I can do instead of like doing little bits. Like you got one way to like get through it is just by like not like, I don't know, it's hard to say, but
I agree with what you're saying, because most people look for influencers, they follow those influencers, they start living that lifestyle of those influencers, forgetting that each one of us, including the parents, we're a brand. My brand cannot be your brand, and we all have to know what are we doing towards making our brand looks good. I always say we all like wearing those sneakers, nice ones, looking good, and you ask yourself, like, if it's Nike, they're not going to get anything or anyone come and destroy that brand. Why are we letting ourselves, especially as young people, have somebody else, including friends, destroy you as a brand? Finding that network, may I ask you, because you've also talked very well earlier on, finding that network that work for you and finding career people that work for you within a social network that is so vibrant with social things that people are forgetting to talk anything formal in a network. How hard is it for you to get that professional network online within our community especially?
So could you just summarize that question?
I would summarize it. I was, as a young person who is a career person, finding that network, because most of us, if I'm a teacher, I know where I can get the teachers.
Right.
As adults knows, who am I looking for? It's easy for us to find each other. As a young person, is it easy for you to find a network within your career that works for you? Both ladies and gentlemen, because a network that works for you.
I think it depends on what it is that you're looking for. I think if you're looking for something career specific, then there's definitely things out there. You can look on LinkedIn. There's always, seminars, conferences, events that are happening that are tailored to your career. But if you're looking for like general community, I think it can be quite difficult, especially when you leave university, because that's kind of the last step where you're in an environment where you're more likely to find. It's almost like you're at university is the last space you're in the same boat as people. Does that make sense? So in school, you're in the same boat. It's easy to meet people. University, you're in the same boat. It's easy to meet people. The moment you leave university, that's it. Like you're in the wild world. It's almost like you're in a massive pool, and like you don't know anybody. Does that like you're not in the same position. Not everyone is in the same position as you. Whereas at university, everyone's in the same position as you. Everyone is looking to network and make friends. In the corporate world, everyone already has their own relationships. There's different ages, there's different demographics, there's all these different types of things. And I think once you get past that space, unless you go to places like church, or other like family community events, it's literally mission impossible. So I definitely think for me anyways, I can only answer for myself, in my world, the best way that I found community, the best way I found being able to connect with people was by going to places like church and church-like events.
Thank you very much. And last, for the young lady, we are having a lot of young ladies out there. People are saying those girls are rocking. They are very busy getting their careers, very strong, empowered women. So I'm asking you these questions because I would love you to tell the parents what have they got right and where are they going wrong. Because sometimes you got to tell the parents, maybe we are not in Kenya anymore. Get back and live in England. So, and this is not directed to your mom. This directed, we are doing this call as a general call for every parent. So don't take anything any young person says here, because what I want us to do is to build each other. So talk to them and tell them off if you want to.
Oof, not tell them off. In terms of the networking, I will touch on that. I think I've been quite fortunate in, one, I have very good friends who have very good careers. And I think, in the scripture it talks about iron sharpens iron, and I've been fortunate enough to have people around me that work for all sorts of companies, very different careers to me. Not all of them are like analysts, some of them are engineers. But I think because we all have this somewhat of the same mindset, I've been able to go into certain places or certain professional events and relate to other people. I would say I'm very fortunate in that. In terms of your second point, remind me, sorry.
Our parents, your parents especially, how can we bring them to par to understand young people better?
I think kind of sitting down and listening, really. I think listening is the key thing. And I think sometimes when we want our parents to listen, they can hear you, but they don't necessarily listen to what you're saying. And I think being supportive in where you want to head in life is a big, big factor. I think growing up for me, my parents were never I think also because of me, I'm generally very driven. And if you have that driving aspect or a passion or a love for something, you'd want to go for it. And I think unfortunately the aspect where my parents never really pushed me. But if there are children that need to be pushed a little bit, just talk to your parents, tell them how you're feeling, and just make sure you listen. I think that's the key thing. Any advice, just listen to your children. I think it's sometimes easy to kind of just say, you need to go to school, you need to do this, you need to do that. But if you just listen, it can really change things.
Thank you very much. Is there anything in the community here who are sitting down who would have had a question to ask the young people? Thank you very much. Putting you on the platform.
I think it's not a question per se. Just listen to these young people. And I know, we say they are always engaged in their gadgets, but that seems to be the way the world is now. I mean, my youth in the Kenyans in Hertfordshire, we created a WhatsApp group, and I'm there. They never communicate there. So I called the person who is the chair of the youth, and I said, what's going on? Why is there no communication on the WhatsApp? Even me, you say, no, uncle, we don't use WhatsApp. We use Snapchat. We better move from there. So I think for us, as people in a community, we need now to look at creating space for that to happen and then get involved in that. That's what she's talking about, listening. They've got their own way of doing things, but we still think our way of doing things is the right one. So they just go ahead and do what they think is right for them. So I think we need to look at how we can create space for that to happen and for them to express themselves in an environment where they feel that they will deliver their message more effective. I think that's a challenge that I'm going to take away from here. And I think this is a very good initiative. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
I think I'll have to say well done, all of you. And I think it's just a follow-up on what you've said, because it was very interesting. I've just come from an AGM for Bedford, and that's something that we talked about. How do we engage the youth? And the women were saying, let's do WhatsApp. And they said, they don't do WhatsApp anymore. So question now following that, how do we engage you? For you, what do you think we should use? Because I think that's a question that we asked, but we didn't have an answer. Now that we've got you, how can you guys tell us what are you at the moment using that we can actually look at to be able to understand what you guys would like us to hear?
I think it depends on the age range. Because if I'm honest, I use WhatsApp. I think how I see it is that different social media platforms are for different things. So WhatsApp is more serious, Okay. All of my serious communications happen on WhatsApp if I'm speaking to anyone more senior than me. If Okay, most things actually are via email, but you know, some like church-related things are on WhatsApp. Personal things are on Snapchat and Instagram. So I think if it's a community-based thing, I think WhatsApp's okay. You know, like I don't expect Uncle to be on Snapchat. She's talking to him. Like you know, we need to find a middle ground. It doesn't make sense.
Can we not be on Snapchat, maybe watching what you're saying so we can learn? I don't know.
Watching is a bad word.
Following.
How do we? Yeah, because we are also trying to see how we can now bridge that gap. Where now we don't say we are old, we just decide, okay, you guys now have decided this is the way you're going. We need to be able to follow so we can actually listen to understand. So, and obviously, maybe some areas we might not be able to, I don't know. So, I don't know if you're getting my question in terms of how can you encourage us to maybe now.
How can we bridge the gap?
Yeah. That's a question. Thank you.
I think, okay, so there was a forum that we were part of. It's called like a children's dinner that we have like every year with a separate Kenyan community. And there's a particular Kenyan gentleman, he's more or less my age, and he was almost like the bridge between the parents and us. So sometimes he'll come in our group chat and be like, guys, this is what the parents are thinking, what do you think? I think sometimes having like a middle person, being the middle between the parents and the children, it really, really helps. So I'm a bit older, but can still talk to the kids, if that makes sense.
That's really good, yeah. Right, and finally, you know, there's a lot of young people who are not at your level, because I'm loving to hear each one of you is really knowing what they're doing with their life. So you're already, you know, I always say by the age of 25, you know what you're doing, you know what direction you're going. And when I'm mentoring young people, actually in school, they call me cut the link. Finding a time where you can cut the link with the people who are dragging you down to now find a link with people who will take you up. There are young people that you might know who are your age, who are still struggling to find who they are. What would be your message to those people who still haven't found their niche?
Well, like the first part of that, like I've definitely, if you're ever going through something like that, I've definitely been through that. Just in terms, like, I used to have a very, very close friend group. And then, like, it got to the point where, like, I started taking God more seriously. And, like, they just stopped understanding me. Or they chose to stop understanding me. And then it just got to the point where I was like, you know what, like, I'm not angry at any of you guys. Like, I love you all. But I'm like, I'm done because, like, this just ain't gonna work type thing. And it was like our friend group, we were all on a group chat. And I literally left the group chat. There was probably about I think there was 8 of us. And then I left the group chat. And that was a big move. That was a big move, but I had to make the move. Like,
That was your detox.
Yeah, 100%. And that, like, I'd already been like growing a lot. But then, like, making sometimes, don't just be abrupt either. Like, don't just do it because you think, oh, I need a change. Like, I'm gonna do this. Nah, like, that's kind of an issue that I have sometimes. I make like fast movements, but that was I need to do this now. I knew I had to do it now. So I did that. And then, what was the second part of the question?
Those who haven't found their niche,
Yeah,
what would be a word for them? A quick word for them.
And I literally, like, just trust God. Just trust God. Like, first and foremost, you have to keep trusting God. Sometimes, like, you don't know that you're on, like, as long as you're doing something, you're always a step closer to finding what you have to do. I think you have to try as many different things as you possibly can. And, along the way, like, you'll just end up like finding what you want to do, for sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
I think I'll preach now. The Bible says in the book of Psalms chapter 1, it says, blessed are those who do not take up counsel with the ungodly. They shall be like a tree that is planted beside the riverside. I now flip that and I say, and blessed are those who do take counsel with the godly, for they shall be like a tree planted by the riverside. So I think when it comes to being around, like finding people that will help you, I think find a godly community, because you'll be like a tree planted beside a riverside. A tree by the riverside has nutrients because the water gives it nutrients and it grows, right? So when you're plugged into godly community, you're always going to grow. And like I said earlier, we all know that saying, show me your friends, I'll tell you who you are. If you're friends with 5 millionaires, you will be the 6th millionaire. And another thing that I say is that surround yourself with people that are head and shoulders above you. So whether that be spiritually, whether that be physically. So I'll explain that. So for myself, in the gym, I prefer to train, and even in football, I prefer to train with people that are, like a lot of my friends are professional footballers, and you can watch them on TV. I prefer to train with those guys because they're head and shoulders above me, and the only way is up for me. I'm only going to equate to their level. Do you see what I'm saying? Even spiritually, when I first became serious with my walk with God, I put myself around people that were head and shoulders ahead of me, and I covered much more ground than I did others that took their faith seriously but weren't around people that were head and shoulders ahead. Does that make sense? So I think for people kind of in that space, look who you're surrounded by. If you want to be like them, stay with them. If you look and you realize, I don't want to be, then find people that you want to be like. And then, what was the latter part of the question?
It's just for them to find their niche.
Find your niche. Yeah, and honestly, I think the only answer is God. Like Sam said, I think the only way that you will be the person that you want to be and be the person that God wants you to be is by solely following and seeking God. So I think, yeah, that's the one and only answer.
Thank you very much.
I think I'm going to keep mine short and sweet because I think the boys have kind of echoed. I think I even said it previously, just hanging around with people who are better than you. Like, if I'm being very blunt. I mean, I have some friends that have already bought houses, things like that. I know that's something I would want to do. I don't know if this is on or not. But something that I would want to do eventually. So that obviously inspires me as opposed to being like an envious thing. I'm like, wow, I also want to do that. And also from a godly aspect, I have a church community that I rely on in times of when I need something or vice versa, or even in good times and bad times, just relying on that community. The second half of your question was about finding your niche. Yeah. I think most importantly, God, but also finding out what do you love, what do you like, and work on that. And if I put a bit of a spin on it, so I had a business in 2020 to early 2022. So I used to make homemade lip glosses. And then I stopped that business because I know for a fact I don't think I had put God at the forefront of it as I should have. So now I'm starting to rebrand it and restart it again and putting God at the forefront before anything. So yeah, I would definitely say try to find your niche and don't give up on it.
Wow, thank you very much. I mean, it is about finding your niche, and it's just also for the adult as well. It's not only for the young people. Can I just finish by saying it's always going to be a dream. It's a dream to have a good relationship with your parent. It's going to be a dream. It's going to be a dream to have a good relationship with your children, to have a good job. It's a dream if you're not putting a plan in place. So it's all about what plan are you putting in place to bring your reality. What reality have you got? Because sometimes being real with who you are, and sometimes smacking yourself. I love people who criticize me because they are telling me, Janet, you're not doing it right. And instead of me getting angry and all they are gossiping about me, I go and close the door and I say, what they said is good for me to grow. And that bit where now your dream will become a reality, it's all to do with your plan. Thank you very much. God bless you. And let us do this more because you never know who you will touch. Thank you.